Hello, everyone. Welcome to another amazing edition of Let's Talk 1943. And this is the Business Spotlight edition. And I'm so honored and blessed to have someone that I love truly and dearly on my show this evening. And we're going to talk about another aspect of her life that she is definitely amazing in. So we have Ainee Lynnette Taylor, and we'll get back to her in a second. But like I always say, you ready? Let's talk. We are back. And thank you so much for joining me today. So let me just do a little light intro to get you in here. Now, she's the pro, y'all. So, this is again, Ainee Lynnette Taylor, and she is the owner, CEO, founder of TV Stars Media, LLC. She has a social media marketing company, and we're going to kind of get into all the aspects of it and break it down. So, Ainee, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Regina, it is a pleasure to be on your show. Let me tell you, you are amazing to me. I want to say that first and foremost. I don't think people tell you enough how amazing you are, but I want you to know so that everyone who's watching will actually hear it from my mouth.
Thank you
so very much for what you do.
Thank you. And her word is bond. I love it. I receive it. I'm learning to receive. So I receive it. I receive what you said.
Oh.
So let's get into it. I'm so excited because, a lot of people in Eastern North Carolina know you for a lot of things, right? So today we're going to focus on this new adventure that you have. And it's not new, but it's kind of new. It's kind of weird how it is, but we're going to talk about that. So let's break down, what is TV Star Media LLC? Let's start off with that.
Oh, that's a great start. So Regina, I have about 20 years of experience in media. I started in broadcasting right out of college, and initially just was reporting. I was out in the field. I was also my own person who had to literally do everything. I was from one thing to the next, doing the video, reporting, writing, all of those things had to come into play. And so as I learned through the years, I was able to actually become an anchor at our local news station here in Greenville, North Carolina. And then eventually I moved to Florida, where I was in Gainesville and worked for many years there as an anchor and also a reporter. So I have a lot of experience with talking to public information officers from local municipalities, police departments, city government, all of those things. And to me, it became a passion to help other organizations. So as I was working in broadcasting, and I know I'm going a long way to get to what TV Stars are.
No, go ahead.
But really, it started in that realm because then I had other organizations ask me, how do you talk to the media? How do we get the media to listen to us and get our stories out? And with that, I gave them those tips. And to me, that was where it was really rewarding, because getting that relationship is very, very hard. A lot of times organizations don't feel comfortable talking to a media person. They feel like they're going to change their story. And so I try to give them the information they need to help with putting out their platform in the way they want it presented. But you've got to give the information to the reporter in a way to do so. Otherwise, they're going to put whatever together. As a reporter, it's either you're going to look for the information or you're going to take what's easy. And I like to take what's easy. What's easy is give me the information, and then I can also do some background work. But if you give me more information, the better it is for that organization. And so I kicked around the idea of having a social media network, especially as we got into 2020, as the pandemic was in full swing, and a lot of people were on social media and it was just blowing up. But when I left television officially in 2018, it was because I felt a calling by God to move and step out. And he was saying to me, social media is where it's at. And so TV Stars actually stands for Truly Victorious Stars Media, which is a play off of the fact that I worked in the TV business, but also Truly Victorious is where I see this company. And what it is about is giving glory to God. And that is truly the victorious part about that. And so that's the birth of TV Stars Media.
Oh, she's amazing. You just did my job for me. So
when you're both professionals in this realm, it makes it easy to have a conversation and talk. So it's almost, it's interesting being on the other side, but at the same time, we all know how to say things. You know how to talk about your business and your passion. And that's what becomes so easy when you're talking about something that you believe in.
Now that you just hit it on the head right there when you said your passion.
Mm-hmm.
The way you're talking about this, the passion is like oozing out. You could tell that this is where you are supposed to be. God had told you right, and he always tell you right, but you listen, and that's the difference. A lot of us are always told, we get the little tap, but we don't listen. But the way you're talking about it, you could tell that this is what you're supposed to be doing, because it's still doing what you did before. It's just on another level, right? It's more in your control, in your hands, to do it in the way that he's asking you to do it. But you went through the other stuff to learn all the skills that you have right now. And the skills that I'm telling y'all, ladies and gentlemen, is she's a guru in editing and content. She does it to herself all the time on her pages. I mean, she could go to the gym and make it like a daggone sitcom. Like, I don't understand going to the gym, how she makes it, and she edits it and chops it up, and she got this music going, and she's talking about, her at the gym. So is that's the passion that you, when you learned all that stuff all these years, that's something you gravitated to because you're good at it and you like putting content together, correct?
I love putting content together. I love when we can showcase people. We'll go way back in the day when you had like the tape recorders and the little handheld recorder. Okay,
the one you hold with a little hook, the little handle.
Absolutely, a little handle. Little cassette tape was in that sucker. Oh my gosh! And I started off
with the mic,
literally doing a variety show in an audio platform. I had all the different voices. I mean, there's a little theater. I love theater. So that was part of it. And I believed I was going to go into theater, to be totally honest. And so I had that part of I guess theatrical part was down pat. What became my voice, as some people say, oh, you just got the voice for broadcasting, that came through all the times I had to anchor a show and realize where I could sit and breathe and not get out of breath and talk and still enunciate. So a lot of people, how did they teach you? And I said, I don't think it was something one teacher taught me. They took the skills and gifts that God gave me and then sharpened those for me. So then I actually now have what I consider my voice. And it's a little deeper. It's not your typical voice, but I always just loved to do theatrical stuff. And I would have a whole radio show. I would do a game show. I was all the people. And I would send those little cassette tapes to my sister who was in college or she was away, whether she was going abroad, just to have something fun. And so that has now kind of transformed into the digital media. Once we had all these tools accessible to us, I gravitated to them. I loved when Apple came out with iMovie, which made it so simple to edit. And I was like, I do the same concept in television, only it's harder. It's so much more difficult because you didn't have a template. There was no template. You created your story and you put them together like pieces. And that's what people are seeing now when they edit. It's a piece. You put them into, you put the pictures there, you put the music, you put the sound bite where the person is talking, and you put it together to be one seamless picture. That was just nothing but pieces. And when the templates became available, and all you do is plug in stuff, and then all of a sudden it was auto-generated, like AI auto-generated. Those auto stories came together. And I said, gosh, this is so easy. I said, guys, this is going to be the new future of what we do in television and what everyone else can do. Now everyone can become their own reporter, but they can become their own storyteller through video. And that's what people are engaged with. And that's what we see now. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of those platforms are just an expression of what we were doing. But now it's in the hands of the common person. It's not a professional, guru who went to school and had to learn this. No, everyone has the opportunity to do the same thing. I just love doing stories. And it started from a very early beginning and then just transformed with the whole technology. So that's where we are today. I love doing it for my Mary Kay business. I love doing it when I go to the gym and just my personal life stuff to make people laugh at me a little bit, but also I don't take myself super serious a lot. So it's fun for me to just say, hey, I'm working out. They're kicking my butt, but go do it. Work out, have fun.
I barely made it.
Yeah, I made it through. I may look hot, like a hot mess, but at the end of the day, it's doing something healthy and letting someone else know you can do it too.
That's true. That's true. So we're going to take all that you just said and let's break down exactly what your company do. So let's break down. I know you got three different pillars, we want to call it, that you do. So let's break those down.
Yeah, I like the way you said that. I feel like I have so many little spokes to this wheel, but it all
Mhm.
started and generated based on the fact that once I left television, everyone was like, "Why did you leave? What are you going to do? What you going to what, what's happening?" And
Mhm.
it became organic. People asked me, "Can you like host an event?" I always host events, as
Mhm.
the anchor person at the station. You go and you do those, but I had to do them pretty much for the pay I received at the station. But I said, "Now, I'm a free agent."
That's
So
right.
gotta pay me for those things. And I said that like, and they were like, no, that's no problem. What are we gonna do? And I thought, wow, what an honor that someone wants to pay me just to host and cut up and then
Mhm.
eat free food. I just couldn't beat it. So I really enjoyed hosting. That was how it all
Mhm.
started. Then some folks were saying, we have a candidate forum coming up. Can you be the moderator?
Mhm.
Or there are candidates that had to do a 30-minute interview. They needed someone to talk to. They couldn't just talk to themselves, although some have. Obviously, they're talking
So
to
I don't know how
themselves.
that turned out, but they did.
They did it. It's just like if I was like, "Hi, Ainee, how are you? I'm great,
I'm
Ainee.
fine.
Thanks for talking to me. Good talking to you, Ainee. Tell me about yourself, Ainee. Well, Ainee, like it
Right.
kind of got awkward. So they said, "Hey, can you do these interviews with the candidates?"
Mhm.
Okay, sure. But I can't do it for free. It's taking up my time. Time is money. So they said,
Mhm.
"Sure. What do you want? What do you need?" Okay. So what I
That's right.
realized is I needed a platform to where I can then say this is a profitable operation that I'm doing. This is not just,
Mhm.
hey, you can just pull me from here and here. Now it's call me. Let's make an appointment. Let's,
Mhm.
make a decision on where we're gonna actually work. And then I had a platform and a bank account that I could put this in now. So it began just that simply with hosting, then the interviews with candidates, and
Mhm.
then all of a sudden it was, I need you to do commercial work. And I thought, fabulous. I love commercial things. Couldn't
Mhm.
do those when you're in television because you have to keep that, you have to always seem non-biased. So you
Right.
really do those commercial work unless it was for the station. And
Mhm.
so I started doing commercials for like festivals that were in the local area. And so if you were in that area and you were on social media like YouTube, most of the times you get those little commercials that you'll skip.
Mhm.
People didn't skip mine. And so if you're in that area and the festival was coming up, you would see me talk about that festival. And then I would also do their radio spots and things like that. And it just kind of parlayed into more and more work for me. And the goal is to do more voiceover work,
Mhm.
reading audiobooks, all of those things that to me are part of what I do anyway. I've always done, but I can now control what I do. I can then say yes to a project or no to a project, or
Mhm.
if there's an agenda I just don't really believe in, and
Mhm.
there's several. When you're a reporter, you may have to do stories you just didn't want to do, and it's
Mhm.
not because you just were lazy. It wasn't to me what we do as journalists. I
Right.
felt we had a responsibility to inform, and to inform fully and truly.
Mhm.
And if you do those things, it becomes easy as a journalist because you're seeking out the truth as much as you can seek out, because there are always two sides, but really there's two sides, but there's really three. You know,
The truth.
the truth is the third side, and you got to find who's going to give you the truth, and then be able to back that up.
Mhm.
So all of those things to me, I didn't have the freedom to then do a story that I felt was more impactful in the community,
Mhm.
more impactful to even the Black community.
Right.
And if you are like one of few in your field, you're
Mhm.
constantly fighting a culture of people who go, I don't see whether it's important. Well, that's
Mhm.
why I'm here. I'm telling you why it's important. But if I have to always do that, it becomes very difficult and you just end up just getting burned out.
Yes.
So now I can focus on those stories. And that's the other pillar of TV Star Media, is to focus on the great stories in our community that doesn't get any type of play. And I say that
Mhm.
because in the media business, you'll see, or TV media, they're going to talk about the crimes. They're going to talk about the break-ins. They're going to talk about money. They're going to, those are the things that are up there.
Mhm.
Good stories where people are helping each other. They're building up their community. they're helping children, they're fostering, and I mean fostering in the sense of their knowledge of things, their
Right.
education, investing in people that are not blood related, but yet part of their community. That
Mhm.
doesn't get as much airtime. It's going to probably have 35 to 25 seconds in a whole newscast.
That's
And
true.
so after you've been depressed, after they've told you your life is like going downhill in a
You
spiral,
ain't gonna make it tomorrow. You gonna make it.
yeah, you're not gonna make it. You don't want to watch anymore. You're like, I don't need this negativity in my life. I got drama in my house. I don't need to see this drama on TV. But you kind of get into it for a moment, and then you're just like, I can't. I have people tell me I can't watch the news. I can't do
Yeah, a
it.
lot of people don't. A
They
lot
can't
of people
do it.
stop watching the news because they said it makes them feel so sad and so depressed.
It
And
does.
when you get on it, because it's shock value, they have to get you interested to keep watching the whole thing, and they can't just say, "Well, Sally walked the dog and she was happy today."
Yeah, no, that's not going to pay the bills as much as, Sally got knocked over the head while walking her
A
dog.
dog.
We're looking for the assailant.
That's a
Believe me,
shame, but it's true.
it's true. It's
Mhm.
valid information when there's someone at large. But then if you constantly are feeding into the fear that this is what your community is about,
Mhm.
people don't see the goodness of what is really going on in the background. That they're not going to, the people who are working and doing the good works,
Mhm.
they're not out there going, hey, look at me, look at me. They're doing the work. They don't have time for all of the folks to come and then bombard them with lights and cameras and microphones.
True.
So the goal for the TV Star Media also spawns the side where I can be my own reporter again. And because I already had to edit and interview and find the people, this is just what is in my wheelhouse. And so I have a YouTube channel, which is called God Works TV, because God works in us and God
Amen.
just works.
Yes,
If
he
you
does.
don't know anything else, God works.
Yes.
So that's why I said the channel has a twofold meaning, because I see the work of people and they may not say, oh, that's God like leading me, but their work is of God until they
Mhm.
realize that that's what they're doing. The Lord can use anybody, He can
Mhm.
use anybody. And sometimes He'll use a regular person who may not realize that's what they're doing. And then they're fostering and helping everybody in their community. And I want people
Mhm.
to see that, because if you're getting, let's say, 23 hours of negativity, if I can give you 2 hours of something, my
Change
math is all off, but I want 1 hour of good, positive news,
Right.
positive things in your community. I believe more people will gravitate to it, and then also help each other. And that's what I'm asking God to do, is shine a light on it so that people can also join in, because there are folks who really don't know where they fit in and they
Mhm.
want help. They just
Mhm.
don't know where. And it's because they don't know where their community help is going to. They just think of, oh, it's bad out there. We can't go in this neighborhood. They'll knock you over the head. But then there's
Mhm.
that old, sweet lady in her house who gets sodas for the kids who come off the bus, and they go to
Yeah.
her house and she'll say, give me a quarter, and here's some snacks. Or you guys do your homework in a safe place while your parents are trying to work and they
That's
can't
right.
afford childcare. It's like you see and hear about these things, but they don't get publicized. And I
Those are the people that need to be recognized,
me
because when you
too.
show, people will do. A lot of times people think that the little things in life doesn't make a difference. They think the little things are not going to impact a community. A woman who says, "Hey, I don't have any money, but I do have a space that I could convert over to a homework space. So, like you just said, I could have your kids come here after school for 2 or 3 hours while you get home, and they safe and they getting their homework done. And that's someone that they trust in the community. That's a big deal. But
Hmm.
we don't see it. We don't know that's happening. We don't know we could do it in our neighborhood. So, by example, things do happen, but we got to see it. So, I'm saying to you is, this is an amazing thing to do, because when people do see it, you may start something. Because what
Right.
you just said right now, somebody could go, you know what? I have a space that I can use in my house, and I know the kids in this neighborhood, and they don't have nowhere to go, and it's cold, whatever, or wait for their parents to come home. Maybe I could do something like that. You could probably just start something right this moment, and that's what your show is about, and
Yes.
that's amazing. So now you have the show, you bring all your expertise and all your I'm about to forget the word, all your experience
Mhm.
to this. Then you do creative content. So you do that, you do the editing. So now you do marketing. So is that the third section of your pillar, is the marketing piece, correct?
Yeah, the marketing, because there are a lot of nonprofits. There are companies that are small. They don't have a huge budget, but they also don't have the time to spend on publicizing their
That's true.
businesses. And so when this becomes kind of a new space, when you're in the social media realm, they may not have a bunch of TikToks, or people who are TikTokers, and they want to get their word out. They may like Facebook, but they're not sure, how often should I post? Does it matter if I post every day? Does it matter if I do a post once a month? All those kinds of things are what I'm very much interested in, and I'm becoming a student all over again in the realm of social media management, and it's an ever evolving process, because where in television, just like in radio, I feel like every medium has a turnover. Radio, you always would have maybe a minute spot, and they would sell that minute. Television, they started selling it in 30 seconds. They're like, people want 30 seconds. TikTok sells it in 15 seconds or less somehow. Wow. So our attention span really is about 5 seconds. They know in 5 seconds if they want to keep engaging in that content, or they want to go and find another subject that's in that same realm. So we have to gain people's trust and interest right off the bat. And so I look at it as an opportunity to help an organization and say, okay, you have a nonprofit, you don't have a lot of funds, but let's see how we can create engagement, because engagement it creates that activity. Activity then creates a movement. That movement creates money. And if you are looking to build on your nonprofit, you need to also have funds. I mean, let's be real. People all go, oh, money, talk about money all the time. Well, money is what makes this world go round. And if you're going to get things done, the only way you're going to have to do that is to show that you're engaged, and you're going to have to actually kind of not necessarily pat yourself on the back, but you're going to actually have to brag on yourself a little bit. You're going to have to tell people what you're doing, and you're going to have to be out there to say, I'm doing this. And it can be so small. I tell people all the time, it doesn't have to be a big production. You can do a simple post like meeting with the crew today, and you take a selfie and you put it on your social media. That shows engagement. It shows you're doing something. And the more you get engagement, the more followers you get. And then, of course, that's where you're going to find the audience that's going to have the deep pockets, or they may have small pockets, but they're going to give
a lot of small pockets can make a deep impact.
That's true. I said, you get a couple of pennies together, you can make some money, and it's 1 penny more than you had before. So I'm like, you're never going to be poor. So always think about the outcome as, if I can reach more people and get the engagement, that's where my TV Star media business will also come into play. I would love to, of course, have some people working with me. And so we're going to grow. That's going to be our plan. Right. And I say our because that's me and God is working on this project. Okay. And we're partners.
He's a good board member. He's a good board member.
I call myself CEO, but the real CEO, that's God. He's got it.
That's
and
right.
He's just saying, in this situation, we're going to build to have actual employees that we can pay and help someone else so that they can realize their dreams. I find it just to, be such a rewarding opportunity, and for me, just an option to use the skills God has given me in another platform. I do love broadcasting. I always have. It's never left me.
I know.
But I just like that creative medium of doing videos and showcasing people and helping them and realizing their dreams and their passions.
Yeah, and that you just summed it up. Nice little bow, nice little package. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, amazing woman, a woman of God, and she's following her calling and her purpose, what God is telling her to do. And in the interim, you will benefit from her services, right? So you're benefiting from what God told her to do. And that's what the world does. We all help each other. And so she's offering marketing strategies, creative content marketing. She will give you a nice example of what they all detailed. So I'm going to actually put her information on the screen right here. And if you're interested in her services, you can contact her through her email right there. And she will definitely sit with you, make a consultation with you, and see how she could be able to help your business. So before we head out, I'm going to ask you 2 things. The first, I'm going to ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years with TV Stars Media LLC?
Oh goodness, I see myself in a high-rise building. I really do.
Yes.
This beautiful high-rise building with multiple offices where we are multifaceted because obviously the media company or just media in general is so ever-changing because there are other facets or pillars I'd like to add, like public speaking, helping those who are going to be out there and actually become their agent or advocate to get them out there. Also would love to see our young people get involved in social media. So have a training, almost like a little academy. And then also doing consulting to help even other TV stations. If they ask, hey, we need someone to help us with makeup and hair and clothing, because that's not something that's really taught in journalism school anymore. They just say, oh, be yourself. Well, you really can't be yourself. Okay.
They lie.
As great as people are, we may have to refine it. And I always let's refine, not just take away, but actually refine and define who you are. So consulting would be another one. So in 5 years, I'd love to see and do believe that this could be a multi-million-dollar company. May not be the 5-year mark, but goodness, let's go for it. And then have a different facet to help not just the journalists that are coming through, but to help other organizations and have stories that'll be around the world. I definitely believe this is a global opportunity where we can showcase our local community on a global platform. Because I can only do so much locally, but I know on social media, it can go anywhere. And if it goes to the right people, I think the world could be a much better place. And I do believe that's how God wants to use this platform. And I hope to use me in order to help this place be one that we can be proud of and happy to live in and find some joy amongst the negativity that we know will happen, but just to find some joy to never give up.
That's right. There you go. There you go. So please, if you know anything about just marketing or how important marketing, social media, and someone who could tell your story in the true essence, and I would say that she did it for me for my book, my first book I wrote. She interviewed me. The interview is still amazing. It's one of the top ones that has been watched all the way through.
It's your story.
You can see, yes, where you can see exactly how long they watch it, and people are watching the full 19 minutes of the interview because she is so good at what she does. So I'm telling you from firsthand, I'm telling you as a friend or sister, she's amazing. And this endeavor is going to be amazing. You need to catch her now because I'm guarantee you another, like she said, less than 5 years, it's going to be hard to get her. So you need to go ahead and get at her now. TV Stars Media LLC. Your information is on the bottom of the screen. Contact her. She will get your business where it needs to go.
Yeah, and email me. Admin at tvstarsmedia.com. Just email me there and I'll definitely get back to anyone who has questions or want to know what I do. I'm happy. Thank you, Regina. You're amazing.
Oh, no. Thank you for having the time because I know how busy you are. You're the woman. So thank you for taking the time out to come on the show today. And the last thing I would like to say is, can you give our audience a last word of something positive you could leave behind?
Yeah, just follow your heart. Ask God to guide you and never give up. Don't give up because you never know how close you are to that next step. You may be plugging away and you think it's never going to come. But if you just keep yourself in the game, you're going to win.
You're going to win. And there you go. So thank you once again. Let's Talk 1943 for joining us today for another amazing business spotlight. As always, thank you so much, Ms. Taylor, for joining us today. And we'll definitely see you next time. Until next time, God bless.